witness.
Mr Speaker.
Matt Ducey.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. As a New Zealander, my thoughts are with all New Zealanders this week who are feeling the impact of these devastating earthquakes. As a very proud, born and bred Cantabrian, my thoughts are with other Cantabrians who are not only dealing with the impact of this earthquake on the early hours of Monday morning, but also the issues of previous earthquakes over the last 5 or 6 years. As a North Canterbury resident, I'm also, my thoughts are with other North Canterbury residents who are very much at the hard end of the impact of this devastating earthquake. My sympathies go out to the family, friends and loved ones of the 2 people who lost their lives. But what I do know, Mr Speaker, it's times like this that the country will come together. We are one nation. It's the way we come together, keeping connected to support each other through the atrocity of such a fatal earthquake, Mr Speaker. Can I acknowledge my parliamentary colleague, Richard Prosser, also from North Canterbury, who came into my office on Monday as well, to look at how we can work together for the benefit of North Canterbury. Also to my colleague, Stuart Smith, who has shown great leadership and most of all what North Canterbury communities are known for, of just pragmatism, getting out there and getting things done. And Stuart's been out on the ground assessing the impact on his constituents as well. I know he has a very big electorate to get round, so I've offered my help in supporting him about how we can work better for some of the districts, although not in my electorate, who are quite hard hit, for example, Huranui. So when we look at some of the impact on the Waimak district, in fact, I feel through a lot of focus and upgrades on our infrastructure and our buildings since the last earthquakes, that we've in fact increased our ability to cope, and there was very little damage in the Waimak. And because of that, I've been working with Jim Palmer, the CEO of Waimak, David Ayres, our Mayor. We've been able to look about how we deploy resources further north to our neighbouring districts like the Huranui and like Kaikoura to support them getting vital infrastructure in place, roading, electricity, water, telephone and connectivity. What's really important about the Waimak, Mr Speaker, is the coastal towns. And of course, we all know with the experience of an earthquake, the risk that results in tsunamis. And we know a lot of people were evacuated and a lot of people self-evacuated out of the towns in my electorate like Kaiapoi, Pegasus, Woodend, Waikuku, Pines Beach and Kairaki. And we set up welfare centres. I talked to many of the volunteers, and I'd like to acknowledge our civil defence volunteers who staff those welfare centres in Kaiapoi, Woodend, further inland in Oxford and in Rangiora, and the great work they did in supporting people who were very anxious and stressed at the time. It was not only the welfare centres that were at full capacity, there was a lot of the high streets like in Rangiora, Cust and Oxford where many people had parked up and were sleeping overnight in their cars. Great stories coming out about the night shift workers in supermarkets checking on people parked in their cars in supermarket car parks to see if they're okay. And there's one great story. I'm working with a lady called Lily in the Waimak at the moment, Mr Speaker, who put a call out through her networks, through her social media and through media to collect perishable donations and non-perishable items for the people in Kaikoura. To date, Lily has collected 5 shipping containers worth of goods to be taken up to Kaikoura. I'll be working with her to understand around the logistics of how we actually get up there. Of course, in Woodend, we're receiving the NH90 helicopters, and we have a welfare centre set up in Woodend as well to support those people coming off in the helicopters as well, Mr Speaker. So great stories coming through about how communities are supporting each other and how the government is supporting these communities as well. Having a background in mental health, Mr Speaker, I just want to finish to say I'm acutely aware of the impacts of the earthquakes. We've seen that from previous earthquakes, stress and anxiety. and I would tell people to look after each other, contact their GP, the Canterbury District Health Board or their local Member of Parliament office. Thank you, Mr Speaker.